The 2017 season has seen quite a few college football coaching changes. The SEC is front and center in that coach turnover, with 4 coaches getting fired since the start of the season. You can make that 5 if you count former Ole Miss coach Hugh Freeze, who was fired before the start of the season. More college football playoff picture in all, we've seen 14 coaching changes since the start of the season. In 2016, we had 26 coaching changes. In 2015, 28. We're going to need to see a few more firings, retirings and resignations if we match that mark. Here rundown of the college football coaching changes. College football coaching changes. Sean Kegler, UTEP resigned October. When Sean Kugler resigned at UTEP after an 0-5 start. Kugler had an 18-36 record during his tenure with the Miners, which began in 2013. Hired October 2. The Miners persuaded former coach Mike Price to come out of retirement to be Kugler's interim replacement. Price compiled a 4,861 record in 9 seasons at UTEP, 200,412 before retiring. The Miners made 3 bowl games during his tenure. Gary Anderson, Oregon State resigned October 9. Anderson and Oregon State agreed to mutually part ways after the Beavers' 15th start to the 2017 season. Anderson went 723 through 2+ seasons in Corvallis. Corey Hall was named interim coach with Anderson's resignation. He is the only remaining coach on the staff going forward. Tyson Summers, Georgia Southern fired October 22. Tyson Summers was fired after Georgia Southern's 0-6 start. Summers was 513 after being hired in 2016. Chad Lunsford serves as interim coach. Jim McElwain, Florida resigned October 29. Jim McElwain and Florida agreed to part ways. McElwain had a 2,212 record in his 3rd season, but the regime unraveled quickly on and off the field in 2017. Hired November 26. Florida hired Dan Mullen away from Mississippi State as head coach. Mullen served as Florida's offensive coordinator under Urban Meyer. More Butch Jones, Tennessee fired November 12. Tennessee let go of Jones after 5 seasons. The Vols had a 46 record and were winless in SEC play after back-to-back 9-win seasons. Brady Hoke serves as interim coach while the Volunteers continue their coaching search. Jim Mora, UCLA fired November 19. UCLA fired Jim Mora after 5 seasons. Mora had a 4,630 record over that stint, but UCLA fell to 56 this season and decided to move on. Hired November 25. UCLA hired Chip Kelly on Saturday to replace Mora. The former Oregon coach led the Ducks to 4 consecutive BCS Bowls from 200,912 and had a 467 record during that time. Joey Jones, South Alabama resigned November 20. Jones resigned at South Alabama after 6 seasons. He compiled a 5,249 record, but the Jaguars fell to 47 at the time of his resignation. Paul Haynes, Kent State fired November 23. Kent State fired Paul Haynes after a 210 season. Haynes compiled a 1445 record over 5 seasons with the Golden Flashes. More Tennessee's coaching debacle magnifies discord in program. Brett Bielema, Arkansas fired November 24. Bielema was let go at Arkansas shortly after a 4,845 loss to Missouri. Bielema finished 2,934 in 5 seasons with the Razorbacks, including an 11-29 SEC record. Athletic director Jeff Long also was dismissed during the season. Hired Dec. 5. Arkansas reportedly hired SMU coach and former Clemson offensive coordinator Chad Morris. Mike Riley, Nebraska fired November 25. Nebraska fired Mike Riley after 3 seasons. Riley compiled a 1919 record over 3 seasons with the Huskers, including a 48 record this season. Left Dec. 2. Nebraska brought Scott Frost home to take over the program after a dismal 48 season with Mike Riley. Todd Graham, Arizona State fired November 26. Arizona State fired Todd Graham after 6 seasons. The Sun Devils finished 75 this season after beating Arizona 4,230. Graham had a 4,631 record, but that includes an 18-19 record the last 3 seasons. Hired Dec. 3. Arizona State has brought in former New York Jets and Kansas City Chiefs coach Herm Edwards to head the program. Kevin Sumlin, Texas A&M fired November 26. Kevin Sumlin was fired at Texas A&M, a move that was expected throughout the season ever since the Aggies blew a 4,410 lead to UCLA. Sumlin had a 5,126 record, but the Aggies lost 5 games each of the past 4 seasons. Hired Deck. 1 Texas A&M has lured Jimbo Fisher away from FSU. More fired coaches owed more than $60 million in buyouts. Dan Mullen, Mississippi State resigned October 26. Mullen has left Mississippi State to become Florida's next coach. Mullen, a former offensive coordinator at Florida, compiled a 6,946 record at Mississippi State, becoming the Bulldogs' second winningest coach in program history. David Bailiff. Rice fired November 27. Rice has reportedly fired David Bailiff, who was the Owls' coach since 2007, after a 111 season. Bailiff had a 7,895 record, but took Rice to 4 bowl appearances. Jimbo Fisher. Florida State left December 1. Texas A&M lured Jimbo Fisher away from FSU with a massive contract. Here are the best replacement candidates for FSU. Hired Deck. 5 FSU hired Oregon's Willie Taggart to head the program. Scott Frost. UCF left December 2. Nebraska brought Scott Frost home to take over the program after a dismal 48th season with Mike Riley. Hired Deck. 5 The Knights brought in Missouri offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Josh Heupel, who engineered Missouri's offensive turnaround in 2017. Mark Hudspeth. Louisiana Lafayette fired December 3. The Ragin' Cajuns reportedly fired Hudspeth on Sunday after the team's 57 season. It was the team's 3rd consecutive losing season and gave Hudspeth a 2,838 overall record over 7 years. Willie Taggart. Oregon left Deck. 5 The Bradenton, FLA native is heading to Florida State, where he will become only the program's 3rd head coach since the start of the Bobby Bowden era. Oregon's co-offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal has reportedly been named interim head coach. Chad Morris, SMU left Deck. 5 The third-year Mustangs coach reportedly has been hired as Arkansas replacement for Brett Bielema.